Sorry, this is super weird.
Watch it break if we get closer, much closer. I see the spine of the world sparkle and shine like the inside. I see the spine of the world. You know it's mine, twisted and tight.
Well, hello.
Hello.
There is some awkward stuff going on with Jameson's location, and he'll be joining us in probably the middle of the podcast. And in order to not absolutely suck on production with camera locations, because Skype is stupid when there's only 2 people on there, we're just not using cameras today. So there's that. Here. Today on Cantrips and Cantrips, close some things that I don't need open. There. Today on Cantrips and Cantrips, we are going to be talking about Magic Origins, wrapping up our series on the set. This is our 3rd episode about it now, talking about its impact on competitive formats that so not Commander, despite what we normally are here. So I've pulled up the top 8 deck list from the Pro Tour over the weekend, but before we dive into that, it's been a while.
Right.
Yeah. So yep. Okay. So John, what have you done in Magic in the last couple of weeks?
I mean, I've been mostly I made a new Tiny Leaders deck that it's working out pretty well for me actually. I mean, there's some rough matchups, but they're not matchups that they're not matchups that I'm surprising are rough for me. I knew they were going to be rough for me.
Right.
So, I mean, I actually don't feel bad about it. I mean, the one that took me off was TJ's deck, but I mean, I know CJ's deck, but I already know why his deck is a rough matchup for me.
You're talking about the Teamer one?
No, his John one.
Oh, okay.
His just like super efficient, super card advantage deck.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the fact that my deck gets value off of making you discard your hand, and to hit that deck, it doesn't matter. Like, he doesn't actually want stuff in his hand. He wants it either on board or in the graveyard. That's where he gets value for it, which makes my deck not good against him. Because I'm like, discard, and he's like, okay. Punishing fire. And then I'm like, okay, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but I like it. I like how it works. It works well.
Yeah.
Beyond that,
which we'll actually probably talk if we have time. We'll probably talk a little bit about that deck as we wrap it up at the end. If we have time, I'd like to talk about the set's impact on Tiny Leaders, but of course we're focusing more on the big 3: the Standard, the Modern, and the Legacy.
right.
Seeing as the Commander 4 set deck is in this set. So I think the for me, what I've done in the last couple of weeks in Magic is also focus a bit more on Tiny Leaders, like John. I mean, I've been picking up all sorts of pieces for my Tetsuo Umezawa deck. But I also started. I've been it's something I've been thinking about for a while, and I decided to finally pull the trigger on it. I'm collecting John Avon, so I want one of each of his art, and because I don't know, I guess I'm stupid. I want them to be foil. But yeah, that's been a process of figuring out what to get and how to get it. In the world of Magic, not just us. Obviously, there was the Pro Tour, but then there was also, oh God, there was a thing. I swear there was a thing. The for Battle for Zendikar, that one card we've seen one card already. The card from the dual deck.
Yes.
Let's see here.
Right.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up.
Something of Oblivion.
Yeah, Oblivion Sower. Here we are.
Which
5/8 for 6. Eldrazi. It's very Eldrazi-ish. When you cast it, target opponent exiles the top 4 cards of his or her library. Then you may put any number of land cards that player owns from exile onto the battlefield under your control. Which, when I first read it, I was remarkably underwhelmed by it at Mythic. But then, as some discussion sprang up around it, it occurred to me that includes lands that they delved away.
right.
So
Yes.
that's good. Or if you're,
That's really good.
yeah.
Oh man.
And there's a lot of command. I mean, from a commander standpoint, there's a lot of decks that can do shit with this. Like, you can just go, put it into a mill deck, and you'll probably be able to just, exile their graveyard with, even something as simple as just Bajuka Bog, and then you just get to go, give me all your lands.
Oh my god. I can put it in Una.
You can totally put it in Una. Yep.
Oh my god. And so when I mill them and they're just like, 10 lands, I'm like, that's okay.
Want to do it for 10 more?
Right? Just like, right? And Eldrazi.
It works really well with Una because you like having all that mana.
Right? Oh god, so tasty. Oh man, I'm super excited for that now. Oh man, it's gonna be good times.
I am going to be terrified of that card in that deck. And then some F&M promos were announced. We've got Ultimate Price and Orator of Ujitai. One of these cards is, played and one of them isn't. But Orator of Ujitai isn't bad. I mean, in the right deck, a lot of times it's Wall of Omens, which Wall of Omens is pretty good.
Right.
And it's a bird monk. Come on.
I mean, it's not awful, but it's not Ultimate Price. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, I'm excited. It's gonna be a good card. It's gonna be a cool card. I do like that Ultimate Price art though. It's nice.
Yeah.
I want it.
So, jumping into the actual impact that Origins has had now, I think the biggest surprise for me is, and I was talking to John about this before we went live, but the biggest surprise to me has by far been Hangerback Walker just running away with the whole set.
I remember the pre-release people opened it and they're like, "Oh, this is okay," and they're just like, "Oh, right, okay." Well,
and Jace was like a card that people were like, "Oh, it's all right," and then they played with him and they're like, "Holy shit, this card!"
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Hangerback Walker. Oh my god.
But I love it. I love it when Dark Horse cards like that just come out of nowhere. They come out. We're just all like, "Oh yeah, that's all right. I mean, that's pretty cool." And then it just explodes, and you're like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yep. I mean, Star City's out of stock at 15 apiece for the regulars and 30 apiece for foils. They don't have any. Oh my
Right.
god. Look at that Cedric Phillips smile. Isn't it marvelous? Um,
I mean, like it was kind of like a return around to like Pack Rat. Like Pack Rat was that card, and you were like, you pulled it, and you're like, oh, okay, that's
and
cool.
I mean, like Hangerback Walker, Pack Rat was like this card that a lot of times people, at first, everyone was just like, oh, it'll be great in limited. Like, everyone knew
Yeah,
Hangerback Walker was going to be good in limited. No one doubted that. But,
right.
you know,
And Pack Rat was the same, and then they were just like, oh my gosh, wait,
although it took Grey Merchant of Asphodel for Pack Rat to shine. But,
it did. But still, it was yeah. I mean, it was one of those things. You're like, oh my gosh, wait, guys,
and now Pack Rat
but
sees
this.
occasional Eternal format play. Because, if they don't have removal, it just gets big and kills them. There we go. I played in Tiny Leaguers for that reason. But yeah, so Hangerback Walker, Jace. Did you see? Oh, I lost John. I'll ask him about when he's back. But there was this sweet black green packed deck. Uh, um, I think this is it. Yep, here it is. And so you can see here that it runs. Yep, okay, we're on the right screen. It runs one Ugin. So, it's a control deck with 26 lands. What the hell happened with John? I can't seem to get John back. I am trying though. So 26 lands. It is. Oh, you're back. Okay.
Yes,
All
I am
right.
back.
I was just talking about the black green demonic pact deck. Have you seen this?
No,
Okay, so it's actually amazing. It runs 4 demonic pacts, and then it gets the value off the packs without them killing you by playing a creature from M15. It's a 3-drop, 3/3, costs 2 and a green. Called Invasive Species. When Invasive Species enters the battlefield, return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. So what you
oh
can
my
actually
god,
do, and since it's a 3-drop, you can actually Woodland Bellower into it as well. The 6-drop,
oh
6/5.
yes,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
So the deck basically it plays 26 lands, an Ugin, and then like a bunch of utility creatures like Reclamation Sage and Invasive Species and Den Protectors and Nissas, and it plays 4 Corsair Crucifix because it's really important that you get your lands. And then like
Yeah,
it's got 4 Thought Seeds, 1 Read the Bones, 2 Languish, and then
nice.
a removal suite and 4 Demonic Pacts. And so it just kind of wins with dudes like Woodland Bellower can get there if he's just has a clear path,
Right,
and
Nissa can get there. She
Nissa can get
flips.
there. Yep. But then Ugin, of course, is
Ugin
the yeah.
obviously gets there.
And then Demonic Pact, if you just keep draining them for 4 with Demonic Pact.
Right, Demonic Pact also gets there.
Yeah. Then the sideboard has a Nissa World Waker, whereas the Nissas I mentioned earlier are the new one. But
And yeah,
and then another
right. So,
Ugin and a Liliana Vess, all sorts of alternate win cons in here.
oh man, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the kind
Oh
of
god.
jank that I love.
John, your internet's being really stupid today.
Why? Is it not? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but there's a little bit where it was
It
it
just
was a
wasn't
little
okay.
bad.
Okay.
What I find
Sorry.
interesting is that it's just green black, but they have like Temple of Silence and Temple of Mystery and Opulent Palace. Where's the blue? There isn't. So what do they use it for? Just to screw with people?
I mean, probably.
Am I just missing
Right?
something? There's an Agent of Erebos in the sideboard?
Oh my, wait, what? Okay. Well, I can see it though.
Whenever
I mean, I
Agent
guess.
of Erebos or another enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, exile all cards from target player's graveyard.
I mean, like, if somebody's setting up for like a Tassiger, is he?
Oh,
I
no, I
mean,
know why. I know why. Because that 5-color rally deck.
right,
Yeah.
right, yep,
Which that's another deck that came out of almost nowhere.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I love Rally the Ancestors, so
yep.
they
So
don't make a
I
fun.
think the biggest thing for me is that like usually when a core set comes out, at the end of rotation, it just kind of is like, okay, so this stuff we kind of know what direction next standard is going to go in, and we can start preparing for that. But I mean, for the most part, our archetypes and our decks are going to stay relatively the same. It'll open up some additional utility and options, but apart from that, not a huge change. Whereas this set just like shook standard to the core. It's like completely different standard than it was a month ago. Completely different. We've got artifacts
Yeah,
everywhere. We've got Rally the Ancestors is a tier 1 deck. Like, it's insane.
right.
Um,
Um,
yeah. Which, speaking of artifacts everywhere, I mean, I mentioned Hangerback Walker, but in the top 8,
yeah.
there were 2 Ensoul Artifact decks. Ensoul Artifact, a card from a year ago that saw tons and tons and tons of casual play and actually held its value at above $1 for an uncommon for the entire time. But
Of limited play.
limited as well. But as far as constructed competitive, people were like, no, that card's terrible. It just invites a 2 for 1. And then, I mean, it was good if you could get it on a Darksteel Citadel, which of course it still is. Which, I say that, but... Oh, no, it's hiding over there. In artifacts instead of lands. Okay. I was like, I don't see it on this list. But, and all of a sudden, just like this crazy Thopter artifact support has made Ensoul Artifact also a tier 1 deck. It's crazy. We've got 4 Ghostfire Blades. Like, it's all a bunch of cards. The only new cards in here are actually Whirler Rogue, Thopter Engineer. Okay, there's actually a handful. So Whirler Rogue, Thopter Engineer, Pia and Kieran Nillar, and this one at least. And of course the Hangerback Walker, and they've also got Chief of the Foundry. So I guess there's a lot. Let's look at this list. Yeah, they don't have Pia and Kieran, but they've got the Chief of the Foundries, Hangerback Walkers, Whirler Rogues.
Um,
That's it. Oh, there's a Foundry of the Councils, but I mean, apart from that, the whole deck. Thopter's Fireworks. Okay, I guess I'm just talking on my ass. There's a lot of new stuff in these decks, I guess. But all of the other stuff is stuff that wasn't seeing any play except for like Phyrexian Revoker,
right.
Stubborn Denial.
And then, and then it just kind of like. I
Yeah.
love it. I love when that happens. You're just like, oh wait, this is good.
hmm
Like, guys, wait, hold on. This card is good now.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes when you do that card is Insult Artifact, and other times it's Tarmogoyf, but whatever. Whatevs.
Yep.
They're like,
Other
wait, guys,
times
hold
it's
on. We were wrong. We were
other
wrong. It's really
other
good.
time other times it's Tassiger. Modern has become a format of turn 2 Tassigers for a lot of decks.
Right? Sometimes it's Tassinger. Ugh.
And then of course we've got
I love.
Abzan Control, which is relatively unchanged from its position before. I mean, it's got
Mm-hmm.
some languages, but apart from
Right,
that,
but
I mean,
like,
it's like all older stuff.
mm-hmm.
Both the Abzan decks here actually are, apart from languages, all older stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, that's when I think about it, it's still really to be expected. I mean, there's not really much that came out that they're
Yeah.
like, wanting to get their
hmm
hands on.
I think another thing that has kind of been shown from this Pro Tour has been just red. Red is very good. I mean, all the Insol artifact decks are blue-red. So I mean, it's strong
Yeah,
there. It's strong in aggro, of course, seeing as the finals was mono red aggro versus mono red aggro. Spoiler alert. Um, I mean, like Abbot of Carol
right. I
Keep.
mean,
When this card got spoiled, like my immediate thought was this card's amazing. It's a more aggressively costed Elvish Visionary for red that gets.
right. Which I have one somewhere. I know I pulled one. I just can't find it.
I
But
shouldn't
yeah,
say aggressively costed, but more efficient Elvish Visionary. I mean, they both cost
yes.
two, but
I mean, plus it has prowess, so
yeah,
you
it's
know
great.
it's solid.
It is solid.
I mean, being able to Abbot of Carol Keep into Abbot of Carol Keep into Lightning Strike seems, good.
hmm So I mentioned five color Rally the Ancestors. This is probably also along with the artifact decks and things like that. This is also a huge mix up for standard. Um, Pulled up a list here. I mean, it's got. I mean, obviously, it's running four Rally the Ancestors. And basically, the idea behind the deck is it plays some mana efficient graveyard cards that like graveyards. So I mean, there's four Satyr Wayfinders, there's three Deathless Raptors, a couple of Den Protectors. This one's even running Grim
Nyx
Harvespecs.
Weaver.
Actually,
Nice.
it's
Okay, so I want to talk about how I actually considered running that card in my tiny leader deck. To be
which
honest,
one?
Grim Harris Brex.
Oh yeah,
I super considered it.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah, go on.
So I mean, it's even running Grim Harvespecs, which I think is fascinating. Um, But then the big things are I mean, Nantucket Husk just lets you abuse your effects and things like that. Like Satyr Wayfinder being sacrificed in Nantucket Husk is great. But then I mean, also four Jace Friends Prodigy is incredibly important to the deck. It advances cards and everything, and then it's got one Lily as well. But Mogus Marauder is kind of the big kill you card. It's what you actually typically kill them with. Although Jason Lily can be alternate win cons. Basically, you rally the ancestors to return shit tons of cheap dudes from your graveyard, and then you give them all intimidate and haste with the Mogus Marauder, and then you kill them. That's the deck. That's it. Yep. But I think the biggest thing that the deck actually needed was it was Jace getting that selective discard option
Yep.
that's just so good. Um, if you were sitting there with one of your two Morogus Marauders in your hand, you're like, it's unlikely that the second one is going to get into the graveyard unless I get lucky. So being able to
Right.
just go tap my guy, draw a thing, discard the creature is very important.
Right, but then you could basically just almost go off then if you want to.
Yep, and then that's another important thing about Nantuko Husk is that if you draw Mogus Marauder, you can just cast it and then try to get in there, and when you're ready to combo, you can just sacrifice to Nantuko Husk.
Rally, win.
Yep.
Yep. Like, I mean, that was one of the things that I played the original Rally deck sometimes, but I would just look and I would just be like, oh my gosh, I have like 3 Gray Merchants in my hand. I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't want these. Can you not?
You'd play them. You'd play them not because you wanted to get their triggers. You just wanted to be able to chump block with them to get them into the graveyard.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, play it with Devotion at 3, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I would just play it so I would build up creatures so it'd just be like end hostilities and then I could rally and win. Like that was like it. Like I'm like, come on guys.
Yep. Which their sideboard in this list at least, there are no gray merchants anywhere to be seen, which I don't know. Probably for 5-color rally it makes more sense, but
Yeah, I mean for 5-color for sure it definitely is
it's
I guess you can
it's
not
awkward that
run
it's
yet.
5-color because it's still almost entirely green black with a splash of white for rally and a splash of white for Jace, and they have a splash of red for, as far as I can tell, it's just Colligan's Command. So it's mostly green black.
Mm-hmm.
So Standard's been kind of turned upside down on its head. As far as Modern, they're the Merfolk dude, Harbinger of Tides. There we go.
Yep.
That's the card I was trying to think of. This guy has made Merfolk a much more competitive deck. The 2/2 for double blue, typical Merfolk. But you can cast him at instant speed if you pay 4 for him instead of 2. And he's a huge tempo swing, which Merfolk absolutely loves. Merfolk can't
Yep.
get enough tempo swings.
Yep.
Before, people have been playing remans and fish in order to achieve a tempo swing, where I think that this is just usually better. But if you remand a board wipe, that's huge.
Yep.
Let's see here. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been able to look at so much of the modern. I mean, modern's for the most part the same. Fish has become more popular. God, if Jameson would ever get back from his card being broken down, he could probably talk a lot more about modern. But
Right.
oh, I mean, duh. Goblin Pile Driver. People want to make goblins work, but so far I haven't seen it work. But people really want to. Let's see here. I do think that maybe after Battle for Zendikar block comes out, I think that goblins might wind up being something in modern, really, because if previous Zendikar was any indication, we're probably going to see some goblins, and I think it'll be exciting to see what actually gets printed. Because in comparison to like elves got Elvish Messenger, or Sylvan Messenger, but goblins doesn't have Goblin Ringleader. Which, I mean, elves, they already have Collected Company, which is sometimes better than the messenger, anyways. At least with the elf combo, it is. But
Right.
it opens the path for some other styles of play. And then there's some other people that have been trying to do things with oh, now I can't think of the name of the card. But are you the black tutor?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you? Dark Petition, that one. I mean, it's not seeing much, but I know there's still some ideas circulating, and I think someone will be able to figure something out for it.
Right.
There's the other thing. Avaricious Dragon is well, let's just say it's not performing as well as everyone had hoped it would. Well, not everyone, but some
Right.
people had hoped it would. But there's a deck that's trying to play it, and I think Modern Jund is what's trying to play it. Because of Jameson was telling me about it, and now I can't remember. God damn it. Definitely Jund, though. It was Jund.
Jund is Jund.
I
Jund
mean,
is
they don't
always
really.
good. You can always run Jund.
Yeah, just the color combinations of the typical things in the color wheel are good. But it's the card advantage of it, and Jund typically doesn't care because I mean it just kind of kills you. Um,
Yeah. You just
by
let
the
that
time
dragon
you
card. Just like,
it
no, that's cute. That's
it's not like you're
fine.
playing a ton of Avaricious Dragons. You just play like one,
Right.
and then
I
it's
mean,
a late game option.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the best deck that it might be in, like maybe a burn deck, you know?
Yeah, I mean
But
that's
the yeah,
overall, but the
like
problem
the
is it's a
issue is
4-drop. So
right,
Jund kind
exactly.
of has a lot of similar playstyles to Burn in as far as their how they manage their resources in their hand. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Some yeah, like you said, like the issue that it's a 4-drop. Like it would be
yeah,
good in that deck if it cost like 2.
yeah.
But then it might
Burn,
be too strong.
Burn, Burn has trouble justifying anything that costs over 2. It has to be like for example, Legacy Burn and Modern Burn are just so close to each other. So, for example, Legacy, the 3-drop that they play is Sulfuric Vortex, which is, amazing in that deck. um,
Yep.
they land a Sulfuric Vortex, it's pretty much GG.
Right. Getting that clock, you know.
The clock, and you can't gain life all the
Right.
time.
Yup. Right. And I mean, compared to that avaricious dragon, they'd rather just burn you more.
Hmm.
Like that was the same issue. Like Chandra Blaze would have been fantastic in burn decks if she didn't cost 6 friggin' mana.
Hmm. Yep.
like, like honestly, like if she cost 4, I bet they would have ran her because she's just insane.
Yeah.
But 4 mana to be able to reload my hand twice. Yes.
Yep.
Like seems good, and
And
to
then,
also turn this extra land I don't need into burn. Also, yes.
yeah. By the way,
But
I slightly apologize to the stream. I had been prepared to talk a lot about standard, but I was gonna let Jameson do most of the talking about modern and legacy, and he's not here.
yep,
So
yes, we're like,
it's a little
you
awkward.
know, we're winging it.
Um,
I didn't get to look at a bunch of stuff. I'm like, it's okay, Jameson will like have this. Like Jameson's like he was
yeah,
ready.
like he's known this is gonna be the topic for over a week.
Yeah, and then this.
Yeah,
But
you know,
yep. I mean, I don't think there's not a lot of stuff in Origins that's been in Legacy though. Like, is there? Like, not really. Not that I
not
know of.
really, not really. I mean, and that's
I
true with
mean,
most sets when they come out. Just there's not much.
right? I mean, and getting anything in the Legacy is hard anyway.
Mm-hmm. Um.
Like, it just has to be better than every other possible card they could run in that spot.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect it to affect Legacy much. Like, there wasn't anything that I was
No.
just like, oh, okay.
Although that God, now I can't think of it. I mean, the spell mastery is a mechanic that's super well suited for Legacy. So I wouldn't be surprised if
It
you
is.
find something make it into Legacy with spell mastery.
Right. I mean, it could. I mean, like, Talents of the Telepath is such an insane card, though.
Mm-hmm.
The card is ridiculous.
Oh, there was something I forgot to talk about in Standard. Sphinx's Tutelage. Have you seen the Sphinx's Tutelage deck?
Yes. Okay. So, wow.
Yeah. Let me try to pull it up.
I was like, cool. This is a thing that
The
exists.
blue red Sphinx's Tutelage.
Yes. I like it. I'm about it.
Um, is this the? Yep, this is it. This is the list that I saw the deck tech on the Pro Tour stream. Okay, so it runs 4 Jace, which I don't know if you're getting a theme here. Jace is really good. It runs 4 Jace, and then a bunch of oh, and of course 4 Sphinx's Tutelage, the 3-drop enchantment,
What?
which is also of course Tiny Leader's All Star. I love playing it. Whenever you draw a card, target opponent puts the top 2 cards into her library and into her graveyard. If they're both non-land cards that share a color, repeat this process. And then you can pay 5 of the blue to loot. But so it runs 4 Jace, 4 Magmatic Insight. So I mean, just like a bunch of really janky draw cards in red. Like almost most of the draw in this deck is in red, which is kind of funny. So 4 Magmatic Insight. So as an additional cost to cast Magmatic Insight, discard a land card. Draw 2 cards. Just 1 mana, draw 2. Tormenting Voice. As an additional cost Tormenting Voice, discard a card. Draw 2 cards. So 1 in a red. Drawing 2. Anger of the Gods, because, you're playing mill, you don't want to die to aggro. 1 Roast.
Right.
It kills Siege Rhinos and stuff. 4 Treasure Cruise. That's why the red draws are so important in the Jace. Because then you get to pitch a lot to your Treasure Cruise, so you can delve it.
Yep.
2 Whelming Wave, again, we don't want to die to aggro. 2 Send to Sleep, which is interesting. I like the card. I missed it entirely when we talked about stuff from spoilers. I didn't realize this card was a thing. 1 in a blue. Yep, 1 in a blue, instant, tap up to 2 target creatures. Spell Mastery. If there are 2 or more instant or indoor sorcery cards in your graveyard, which guess what, there will be in this deck, those creatures don't untap during the controller's next untap steps. Again, there's a big theme of we don't want to die to aggro. And then 1 Dig Through Time, just because I guess 4 Treasure Cruises isn't enough delve. And 1 Alhamad's Archive, because drawing more cards is great. And 2 Dictative Crucifix, because also drawing more cards is great. And it runs a whopping 27 lands. That's a lot of lands.
Oh, man. In case I guess. Sometimes you may have to hard cast one of them Treasure Cruises.
Yeah, and also, it makes sense because of the Magmatic Insights, which additional cost of discarding a land. So you want to have a land.
Right. Right. Yep. Makes sense.
And then there's even more mill in the sideboard. They've got 3 Talents of the Telepath.
Yeah.
I like that card actually a lot.
I really like that card a lot. It's pretty ridiculous.
It's impactful.
You think?
Oh my
Mill
god.
7 and I get to catch 2 of your spells for free?
Yep. Yep.
Seems like Value Town.
Which actually another thing about the Alhammer's archive, of course you're drawing more with it, but the gaining life, like looking at the deck at a glance, you don't think that there's anything really to gain, but it runs 4 radiant fountains.
Huh.
4 of them.
So
So you'll gain some life.
you'll gain some life.
If you get the Alhammer's archive out before you draw any of your radiant fountains, it's gonna net you an extra 8 life from your radiant fountains. So I mean that's again, don't die to aggro. It is like the
Right.
motto of this deck.
Yep. I mean, it's good. It sounds cool. I'd like to play it.
Yeah, and the greatest part about this deck, it's cheap. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you've got to get 4 Jaces, but apart from that, this deck is cheap.
I'm gonna say there's nothing in there that's like money.
After the Jaces, the only things that are really money are 1 Flooded Strand and 1 Bloodstained Mire.
Right.
And then a dig through time is like $6, but that's not bad.
Right.
You only need 1.
Right. Exactly. Treasure Cruise is nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, now that it's
So
banned and everything.
yes. Now that it's banned and everything, yes.
Yeah. That deck is hilariously amazing.
Yeah. Seems pretty good. Pretty funny.
My only wish is that dig through time counted as draws.
Ugh, God. But I mean, it can also help you get another Sphinx's tutelage. So
Yes. Yep. Or like if you look and you see, oh, a magmatic insight and a land, and if you don't have any lands, maybe you'll just grab that.
right, just snag 2 lands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
God,
it's
I
good. It's
just
good
love this
utility.
deck. I just love this deck.
You also really like Sphinx's tutelage.
Oh my god, so much. Playing it in tiny leaders is the best. Except when I get 6 activations on a mono black player and don't get any duplicates. John. So I was playing against Tyler the other day, and he at some point he cast his own Sphinx's tutelage, and he was playing
Uh-huh.
Jeskai, and so
Oh
he
man.
started activating on me, and like he got like 3 activations in a row, and I'm playing Grixis. Like, what the hell?
Right. That's
That was a
rough.
great game. It was really close.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean,
Um,
like the first game against TJ was super close. Like, pretty much just about who can. It was pretty much just about who can maintain card advantage.
yeah.
The issue is that
Um,
he gets access to like Sylvan Library and junk, which I mean, Mono Black just can't really keep up with that. Sylvan Library is a good card. Um.
I guess you can talk about your tiny leader stack now,
Oh, okay.
or at
Um.
least, about Origin's impact on the format, and particularly your deck.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my deck. The tiny leader is Liliana, Heretical Healer, and I knew I was gonna build her for tiny leaders the moment that I saw her, like when she was spoiled way back. I was like, yes, I'm gonna do this. Mono black control. which is basically what it is. It's basically black hand control, and I use zombies for creatures. So I run like every zombie lord, and then Coffin Queen I run, which that card is really good. Like I was like, oh man, why is this card $5? I know why this card is $5 now. Card is pretty nifty.
Yes.
And then my other super jank one, Bone Dancer, the black card in the attack pay 0 instead of dealing damage, do this thing that Wizards did for a while.
Yep.
It's just I love it. For those that don't know, it's if an attack and is unblocked, you can pay 0, and instead of dealing damage, you take the top card of that player's library and put it into play under your control, and it's just yours now.
Mm-hmm. It's
So like
yours
Alex,
forever.
I can attack him. If he doesn't block it, I can take his Snapcaster Mage.
Single tier.
And then single. Then take his Snapcaster Mage and take back, say, my guest verdict to make him sacrifice a creature.
That was a play that
Which he can
happened.
then counter until he realizes, until he can counter it and realize that wait, it has flashback though, and then I just cast it again.
Or was that with Snapcaster, or was that?
Yeah, it was Snapcaster.
Okay, so
Because
I actually screwed that up because exiling it is part of the process of casting with flashback.
is it really?
Yep.
Oh, oops. Well, there you go.
Yep.
Now you know.
Yeah.
It's okay. I didn't know either.
Mm-hmm. Although I'm not sure with the new Jace if you minus to, I mean, with the new Jace, if you were to minus with his ability, if unless you just cast something from your graveyard. So if you cast a spell and that got countered, well, I know, but like if that got countered, would you be able to cast it again after even though it's the card's gone somewhere and come back?
I think it would depend
the
on
same
how he read
card.
It would depend on how he reads. I think. Like if it said until end of turn you may cast this card,
Mm-hmm.
then yes. If it just says cast target card from your graveyard, then no.
I think it works.
I mean, what's the wording on it?
Let's see here. So Jace, Telepath Unbound. Okay, so Jace, Telepath Unbound. -3, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. That card will be put into graveyard this. Oh, if that card would be okay, it does actually exile it. So if that card would be put into your graveyard this turn, exile it instead. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's important. Okay.
Yep. I missed that. I just always, but still, it's important because it's not flashback, so you can overload and shit like that. You can pay alternate costs.
Right, which is relevant.
Super relevant.
Yep.
I want to overload my Cyclonic Rift.
Do you have a Jace in your deck?
No, but I want to get one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So obviously the Planeswalkers have had a large impact on Tiny Leaders. Jace is seeing play. Lily's seeing play. Chandra's seeing some play. Nissa. Nissa's a little awkward, but she's still good.
Yeah. The one guy who runs the Meredith deck, I think he should definitely try to get a Nissa. I don't remember.
Oh, absolutely. Name. Yeah, that's Luke.
Mm-hmm. He should definitely get one because he usually has a bunch of mana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, Kithion is probably the one that maybe sees the least, only because he's a bit awkward to like flip.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you do flip him, though,
he's good.
He's good. It's good.
Good. But yeah, I mean, Sphinx's tutelage is, I think, the card that's had the most impact on the format. I mean, hell, they unbanned, um, they unbanned Painter's Servant just for that card.
Right. Yep.
Which I still think is going to bite them in the ass.
Do you run
Um,
Painter's Servant?
no, I don't.
Oh, you're not
To
that
me,
guy.
to me, it's not worth it to run almost just for that card.
Right.
But yeah, like I don't really have things to have protection from a color in the deck either, so
Right.
it's
Yeah.
if I were to run it, it would be just for that card, which to me isn't enough.
Right. It isn't worth it. So especially since you don't have a way to like tutor it up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, cards and stuff. Alex,
Yes,
this week might almost be as rough as Rakdos week.
it might be.
I mean, I think it's actually better than Rakdos week, but it's
Yeah,
close.
we had good discussion about standard.
We did have a good discussion about standard, which is good because during Rakdos week we had a good discussion about nothing.
We had this good discussion about our disdain for Rakdos Lord of Riots as a commander.
We did.
And not in the
Hate
good
that
way,
card.
like I have a disdain for Sir the Enchanter. Like
Yeah,
that's a
like I
good
just
disdain.
yeah. This is just no. Ugh. Like God, on paper he seems so good, and then you try to do something with it, and you're like, oh, this is garbage.
Can't do anything.
Right? You're like, oh my god, these are completely opposite. Why are these on the same card?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not gonna rant about it. Otherwise, I'll just do it for another
We
20 minutes.
that's your rants on YouTube. They can look it up.
Yes. So anyway, yep.
But yeah. I had a thought,
Okay.
but I don't remember it.
Okay.
I guess to kind of close it out a little this week. I mean, one again, sorry for the disorganizedness with not having
Yes.
Jameson and not using cameras because of the possibility of Jameson joining in the middle of it and Skype being sucky. And also mostly not having Jameson, but
Yes. Most having
um,
and our general lack of knowledge about competitive formats.
yeah. The
Right. News though.
Commander, yes, there was some news that we saw just before we went live. Or at least I saw it just before we went live. I don't know when John saw it, but
A
the
little bit
new
before then, but yeah.
yeah, okay, yeah, the new Commander sets have been announced. 2015 Commander sets. They come out on what was it, November 17th?
November 13th, I believe
November
was the date.
13th. Yeah, I think you're right. November 13th. They are
And
enemy
they're
colored, so that would be blue, green, black, white, red, blue. Um, all of the Zendikar fetches those colors, right? Yeah, those are enemy
yes.
colored.
Right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, all
Yes,
those Zendikar fetches.
green, black,
Blue, green, green, black, white, and
and red, blue.
red, blue.
There we go. We don't know anything other than that apart from and also MSRP $34.95, but as we've seen
Yeah,
before, that is more of a suggestion than it's literally a suggestion at market suggested retail price.
at this point, it is because inevitably one or two of the decks are gonna have something that's just stupid.
Yep. We know
Seems
that
to be
each
their
deck
MO.
we know that each deck will have 15 new cards in them, so a total of 55 new cards. Pretty excited to see some things for that. Which I mean, since it's in November, we probably won't really see much of anything for at least another month.
Right.
But we'll probably do some speculation on next week's episode. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Think of
So
some stupid card they could put in there to make the deck worth $70. Looking at
yeah.
you, True Name Nemesis and Containment Priest.
To be fair, I'm sure they'll print a ton of them and it'll be okay. Kind of like True Name Nemesis deck is only like 40 now.
Yep.
But so next week, we'll do some speculation about that. Maybe maybe they'll put fetches in there, which I mean that would be a selling point. Holy crap!
That would
But
be hilarious. Oh my gosh.
probably not. Um, just crazy things like that, and also maybe we'll each come up with an idea of a commander that we'd like to see in them, because there's always at least one commander in there that's a reprint.
Right.
Um,
Right. Yep. Yeah. They usually put one in each deck of each color. That's a.
but we won't be talking about next week? Magic Origins, because holy shit, we talked about everything we could talk about with this set.
Yes.
Which is probably a theme that will continue as the show goes forward. We'll have segments about a set, although it won't be drawn out because we'll keep skipping episodes, ideally. So.
Yes. Well, okay. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank
this
you.
week.
Thank you.
I apologize again for the. It was rough, guys, but thank you.
And as we close out, I'm gonna play a song. But it was the opening song, but in case people missed it, because I just love this song. All right. Have a good night, folks.
Just skin and bones, nothing inside. Sleeping alone, fingers tied. Cells in knots around the heart. It beats in time. I see the spine.
I forgot to mention, this song is The Spine from Princess. Great game by Supergiant Games. Alright, good night.